Angela, as the chair of the Libertarian Party, obviously the goal over the next several years is to grow membership, to grow financial infrastructure, and become an even bigger force. What would be an issue that you think would, I mean, again, I know libertarians tend to be very militant, at least that's the old school libertarianism, but maybe the new school libertarianism is maybe a little bit more flexible in terms of how they see the ability to attract more supporters into their coalition. I'm not saying you have to change core values necessarily. Sure. But is there anything that you see as a key issue that you think will attract more people to your side? And what is an issue that you think would be advantageous for the left that would actually make them more appealing to people if they got their, butts in gear?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, being anti-war is a huge unifying issue. And that's something that we're going to be leaning into. But, the other thing I'm leaning into really hard right now is freeing political prisoners. And, there are political prisoners on both sides, like the Uhuru guys. Those guys were heavily persecuted.
We've had them on our show. We had not Chairman O'Malley. We had Penny and I forget the other man's name. We had them on our show to talk about that. No, that's also really upsetting. Yeah.
We don't want to be locking people up. We don't believe in thought crimes. I'm really passionate about getting Ross Ulbricht out of prison. Also, Roger Ver. The thing with Roger Ver, he was like one of the OG Bitcoin guys. And there was like a Bitcoin split, and he was like the Bitcoin cash guy. And one of the things that's been so discouraging to me is to see Bitcoin people be like, I don't care. He has a different view on Bitcoin than me. I'm like, these are, it's like my brother in Christ. These are our brothers and sisters. These are human beings who are innocent of wrongdoing. They've not committed crimes. They've not hurt anyone. No one like that deserves to be in prison. Like, we got to wrap our arms around these guys and do everything we can to protect them from the weaponization of the justice system. They go after political dissidents. Yeah. And I think that that's something that libertarians should champion. And we, should welcome support from progressives and independents and anybody who wants to champion that with us. Like how you want to spend your dollars, you try to comply with the IRS and their response to that is to kick in your attorney's door and question him at gunpoint. Like, that's wrong. And so, I want to be the one to put those pardons on the president's desk and hope that he signs them.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll have a much better chance with Trump than you will with Biden.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Well, I mean, Trump, when he first got in, one of the things that I did like, I think a lot of people did, and I'm not a Kardashian person by any stretch, but when he was doing clemency and he was doing that for people with Kim Kardashian, and that was really impactful. And I don't know the list or how many or anything like that, but I do think, and I've said this before, he likes to be liked.
Yes.
And he wants to be popular and he likes to be the man about town. And I do think that when the right people influence him, that he cares what they think, that with things like that. And I think that you're really smart and strategic about this, because these are the kinds of issues where you can help so many people.
Yeah.
And most people won't even know it's happening. And it's such an under the radar thing for most of these people, that it's a really good way to, I think it's very smart, because you could definitely be effective with someone like Trump in that.
And even though RFK hasn't even been confirmed yet, and I'm still skeptical about him and Tulsi, because I just think that the system is just so broken at this point. That's why the GOP has not reformed. The MAGA movement is very real, but then again, we're trying to work through a system that, again, has been so corrupted for so very long, and we're trying to unwind this. Just the fact that somebody like Bobby made it his mission to basically talk about two primary issues when he ran for president that I thought were substantially important. The fact that private equity has completely taken over housing in the United States, and the fact that we literally eat poisoned food.
Yeah.
And you could give it to me for this, because I do like Doritos and I do like Cheetos.
It's disgusting. I don't do orange food. There is no orange food.
No. Well, listen, orange is a great color, believe me.
Not unless it's sweet potato. Yes. I never let my kids have orange shit because I don't like the fingerprints. It's disgusting.
But once you start reading the labels on these items, and the fact that you had, was it the New York Times that wrote a rebuttal article about RFK and said that grapeseed or that just seed oils in general are good for you? I mean, how much more obvious do you want to make it that you're corrupt to the teeth? Like at some point, you just have to say, well, maybe they are lying to us. Yeah, they are, for money and power. That's it. If you want to eat healthy, there are many ways to do it, and it doesn't even have to be that expensive. And I think just him having that position to get out there and tell the American people that if you eat this food, it's not good for you. And as far as I'm concerned, I hope he gets.
I think he will. I'm not sure about Tulsi. Not personally. I'm just saying.
Well, everybody loves Tulsi. I mean, except for
I don't have. There's things I don't agree with about her, but I've always respected that she spoke truth to power, and I feel the same way about RFK. I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but I do like having somebody in that position that speaks truth to power.
He called me yesterday and had a bunch of nice things to say.
That's so nice.
He's a genuinely nice person. He's just like a genuinely sweet person. I've had dinner with him several times. I could call him anytime. That's another, like, this is like I don't know what timeline.
Have you told him he's wrong on Israel?
Politely, yes.
Okay. Honestly, if he would have gotten right with that, I would have been a lot more supportive of him.
We were saying he could have changed the entire game if he just, but
still working on it.
Yeah,
well, you know what? By the way,
I respect about it is that at least he's honest about it. They are an aircraft carrier in the Middle East. It's like, yeah, Bobby, that is what they are.
Which we don't like.
And a lot of the people close to him are also still working on it. I'm in an interesting position because I've now, I'm just 1 degree away. I'm just a phone call away from a lot of these people, and the temptation is often, like, do you want to blow these people up on areas you disagree with? I'm like, no, I don't want to cut my line of communication.
No.
But that's the power of negotiation. And that's why I do think Trump's second term could actually be very effective. Because as he said on Rogan, and I had this feeling when he went on that it was going to make the election. I had that feeling. Ironically enough,
I knew he was winning long before that.
Well, it just, again, everything happens for a reason. I happened to have been in Austin at the exact same time. And while I was leaving, there's the Trump jet right out on the tarmac, and we ended up getting delayed 2 hours because eventually got out of it. Let me tell you something. If you guys haven't seen Secret Service detail for an attempted assassination on the president, now if you really want to see what Secret Service looks like, let me tell you, it's like a 200 deep fleet. It ain't a joke. So
it's very scary. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
The scope helmet crap is I don't know what it's called.
Listen, maybe one day
Brian probably knows.
Yeah, we'll get maybe one day.
It was nuts. I don't even know how to just. There were like the guys, the Secret Service guys who had their rifles and they were in fatigues, had just like crazy shit coming off their helmets too.
Well, let me tell you something. The other thing that was very interesting, because I was driving from I don't know how well you guys know Texas, but I was staying in a town called Round Rock because I was there. I'm in commercial real estate, and I was there for our annual convention. And so I'm driving on the highway to get to the international airport in Austin.
Yeah.
This was the time that I was driving to the airport was when he was, because I know where Rogan lives. I'm not going to tell you where that is, but we're driving. So I knew how far his distance was. Let me tell you, they shut down everything.
Yeah, well,
I live here. I live close to the airport, and I was trying to meet someone somewhere.
Texas very well.
I was trying to meet someone at the same time, and we just canceled our plans because we just couldn't. We couldn't get there. It was just not going to happen within the time frame.
I was reflecting. I was going in the opposite direction of where he was going.
Can I say Austin has some of the worst traffic anyway on a normal day, and Austin, for proportionate to its size, has horrendous traffic. Austin has traffic like Atlanta has traffic.
Really? I don't think it's that bad. I mean,
it's proportionate to its population.
I moved here from LA. I don't think it's that bad, but I do.
Oh, that's LA's. You're going from like the worst to just slightly.
I do hate the roads as a libertarian. I hate all the roads. I want to blow them up and peel them off the road. Who will build the roads? No one. Whoever built the roads in Austin should not be the person to ever build the roads, because they have this weird frontage road system
where everything is a frontage road. Everything is a frontage road in Texas.
If you miss your exit,
you're screwed.
You're just totally screwed. It's absurd.
You kind of go a lot around a lot of turnarounds.
I don't understand.
Can we agree on high-speed rail? Is that something we can agree on?
I want high-speed rail. I want Hyperloop. I want to teleport. I got to tell you,
Teleport.
People hate on
if there were
libertarian.
no government roads, if someone hadn't built those stupid interstate, we'd probably already have all of that stuff by now. But we have these stupid government roads.
It also has to do with the power of the fossil fuel industry and the fact that
they suck up patents for interesting, ingenuitive, transportation. Novel
they
ideas.
don't want us to
just
have that.
They just sit on them. They're like, and they just hoard them like a dragon with gold. And then so now we don't have teleportation and hyperloops and hyper potato, whatever.
I want to teleport.
Nuclear power? Yes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, big nuclear power guy.
Okay, so
All right, not me, but I want to live in a house in the woods. So
that's
you
fine.
Not
but
all
I'm
of it, but like the newer versions of it, yes.
Yes, Series 4. And I keep emphasizing to people, if corporate special interest doesn't give a damn about solar and wind, but they shit a brick over nuclear, you know what the energy sources that you need to get away from coal and natural gas. That's it.
Or we could start focusing on things like degrowth and living in regenerative, sustainable communities. But no,
Community
let's
gardens.
just keep, not just that, but I
But
mean,
that's
that's the
part of
thing.
it.
Like, I don't support the concept of the nuclear, but I'm significantly okay with downsizing, living differently, being off grid, being able to like live in smaller communities. So I don't want that. So that's not I don't want that. I want degrowth.
I don't agree with the degrowth, but I do agree with being able to sustain yourself and live in environments where you have self-sustenance. But I don't know about degrowth.
I would say deregulate so that people can live off grid a lot easier.
Absolutely.